Welcome one, welcome all to SimSpeed TV for Dirt Night once again. It's the DM Simtography 40 at Port Royal Speedway, the current round of the ODSE 2024 Australian Sprintcar Championships. We are in the 410 sprint cars. What is sure to be an exciting night of racing at one of the more recent dirt ovals to be added to the iRacing service. Some brilliant banking here at Port Royal Speedway for sure, which should result in some intense action with some of the best dirt drivers in the sim in our region of the world ready to strut their stuff in virtual Pennsylvania. Bringing it to you live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Kick. It's me, Reese Gardner, with Scott Rankin alongside me in the commentary box. Jay Kennedy, of course, behind the scenes, pressing all the buttons. And a bit of a momentous occasion here, Scott. This is the first broadcast SimSpeed have ever done at Port Royal Speedway. So we'll be learning a few things tonight. We seem to have lost Scott Rankin for a couple of seconds. We'll give him a couple of moments to sort things out on his end as we check out the aerial view of this track, noting that turns 1 and 2 certainly a bit less challenging, it seems, than turns 3 and 4, tightening up quite a bit right at the very end of the circuit. This is where we are going tonight. Of course, Pennsylvania, a very big state for dirt racing, and we should be seeing some great racing here tonight, Scott. A very challenging track, this one.
Yeah, very short layout, very, very small on Port Royal, and you know that's mean we're going to crank those wings up just a little bit more, and it's not going to be about the top speeds. It's really going to be making sure that you get all the traction, get the car rotated, pointed off, a little bit narrower as well. Slide jobs, timing them is not simple around here as well. So, you know, only half a mile, 800 meters, and I can tell you that I have an Australian long track championship on a motorcycle for this exact track length down in Maitland in the year 2000. But that was on motorcycles. That wasn't on oil tracks. So, hey, at least I know something about the track length.
Yes, indeed. One of the longer tracks that we're going to be visiting this season. So, really looking forward to seeing how the drivers end up tackling it. Before we get into tonight's action, let's check out the championship standings coming into this round. Tim Ryan winning the previous round of the season. Ethan Winter also getting onto the podium. Winter's championship lead is steadily narrowing as we enter the final few rounds of the season. Harry Stewart not too far behind Tim Ryan either. Nathan Vanderwacker and Darcy Wilson definitely within reach of that potential championship lead. In fact, looking all the way through the top 10, it seems the championship is wide open with just a few rounds to go.
Yeah, that's what you want coming to the back end of a season as well. 14 rounds now included, 2 drop rounds. I like drop rounds. I really, one of the biggest things I sort of loved when I first joined the iRacing scene was seeing drop rounds included. It just means that, you know, people who've got lives, you can go on and go living your lives and still compete at the top level, and that's so critical, so crucial. And thinking about your heats here tonight, 8 laps. Then your C main will be 10, your B main will be 12, and then it's 5 out of your heats, 4 out of the C main will advance to the B main, and then top 4 from there straight through to qualify into the A main as well. So a lot of qualifying spots and a lot of opportunity. And the biggest thing I think you've got to get through: number 1, qualifying; number 2, making sure you keep your night alive. Whatever that means, keep your night alive. That's the big key.
Yeah, certainly is. Qualifying is on at the moment. We'll see who gets the quick time here at Port Royal, with Daniel Nicol and the Rutledge Brothers Racing number 18 being followed around and getting into the wall there at the end of his next lap. Currently 12th of the 12 drivers that have set lap times. Darcy Wilson currently top in the standings as Daniel Boyd and Bailey Leeson go to 6th and 9th respectively. Nash Granger, let's see what he can do as Hayden Vickers puts in a great time for 2nd spot in the quick time standings. We're seeing some very rapid times around here, around about the area of 15 seconds, and you're seeing drivers working the outside already. The banking is rather intense up high.
Yeah, you got to get up there, got to get the right rear to really hook, and because it's banking, because it's bermed, it rides a little bit different than it does compared to most other places. So hooking it in, you know, when you think of Bristol, it's all about using that banking, using it to build that run up down the main straightaway as well. Keeping that momentum high, so critical, so crucial. And you can see Kobe Noonan carried a little bit too much speed in there, but he was really trying to wrap that top.
Yeah, he certainly was trying to get maximum runs down the straights here, and we'll be seeing a lot of variance in lines over the course of the night. I'm pretty sure we'll have drivers trying to work the inside pretty early on here to try and get the geometric fastest line around the circuit as Van der Wacker goes to the top, only a 100th of a second faster than Darcy Wilson's best lap time. Brilliant job there from Nathan. Well, we'll see what Tim Ryan and the likes of our championship leaders will do on their first laps here. Tim, of course, leaving it until the last moment to set his times. Ethan Winter and Clayton Davies doing the same thing. Joel Berkeley, he attempted to set a couple of lap times. He's usually a bit of a heavy hitter when it comes to pace, but he wasn't able to get a clean lap in, so he's going to be starting his night off with a little bit of extra difficulty. Tim Ryan already going to the top of the standings over a single lap. There is almost no beating the number 98.
Yeah, just quick, consistent, and, you know, a lot of history, a lot of ability up there. But have a look at the drivers that are sort of back in that middle part of the top 10 as well. Blaine Densling, going to be honest, I expected to see Blaine probably a little bit further up. That's probably not the happiest that he's ever been necessarily with qualifying. But yeah, look, I mean, it takes speed, and have a look at the lap time that comes through at the end. That's a barnstormer to take the pole.
Absolutely is. Tim Ryan has your quick time here at Port Royal by almost 1.5 tenths over Nathan Van der Wacker. That's your top 10. And then we sort them through into the heats. We're going to have 9 cars starting this initial race here with Tim Ryan and Clayton Davies on the front row. Riley Bilson and Blaine Densley 3rd and 4th. So maybe Densley can resurrect something with Nick Ryan and Brenton Hobson rounding out the top 6. Hobson keeping the Mr. 6th place meme alive. Tristan Yelland and Joel Berkeley on the 4th row. And Travis Parrott is your 9th and final car on the grid.
Oh, I can't believe he does that so consistent. It starts off as a joke, and then it's just carried on for so long. Well, good news is at least he's finally led some laps in a number of different series. It's been a while since for Brenton, but hopefully tonight might just be his night.
Yeah, certainly. He's trying to shake that Mr. 6th place moniker off, but hasn't had much success, at least when it comes to qualifying in this series. Well, the field will be forming up on the grid soon. We'll be going for 2 formation laps behind the iRacing pace truck, and then only 1 formation lap for every heat thereafter. And well, we'll see what Tim Ryan is able to do here from the front row. Honestly, you know, commentating on Tim's racing for as long as I have, and knowing his history as a former iRacing World of Outlaws Sprint Car Champion, World Champion in fact, once he gets into the lead, there is no stopping him, and he'll probably be happy that his closest rivals, such as Ethan Winter and Harry Stewart, are nowhere to be seen in this field.
Yeah, it just gives him another opportunity to sort of settle himself down on in. And you talk about it, right? Once those guys get to the lead, they know all the tricks. They know exactly what's going to be thrown at them, and it's very easy to cover. It's a lot harder, I think, sometimes to chase these guys down, to really try to apply pressure. But, you know, Tim leads them from the front, knows what he needs to do. First and foremost, remember what we talked about already. Check those boxes. Survive the heat. Get out of the heat. Qualify straight to the main. That's the big key. That's that first box that you got to check. Yeah,
indeed. We're going to have to wait and see which boxes are checked here as the field forms their way around, waiting for the pace car to enter the pits momentarily, and then Tim Ryan will control the start here. Restart zone, of course, as is set in all ODSE events. Pretty much the final stage of turn 4 is where you can put the power down, but Tim Ryan will likely want to go early to get a solid lead and preserve it. So, with the track already worked in a bit from qualifying, let's see who goes high and who goes low early on. This is going to be a very fun night indeed. Our first time racing at Port Royal on SimSpeed TV. And away we go. Great start from Tim Ryan, but Clayton Davies has managed to stay with him and immediately goes to the inside at turn 1. And Davies will briefly hold the lead, but Tim is going to continue on there in the lead of the race. And they're all up high except for a few others down low. Looks like Bilson's trying out the low line, so is Nick Ryan and Travis Parrott.
Yeah, and then a big swing to the low line now from Blaine Densley, who's going to go through and try and pick up some places. Car and the fence, car up and over. The 9 at the tail end of the field. Berkeley's going around as well. Backwards now is Bilson. Bilson's 9's done. Berkeley into the infield Kia Center as well. Clayton Davies still going to try and rip that top, but Tim Ryan jumps out to the early lead.
He certainly does. Great stuff from Tim Ryan, who sets the fastest lap of the heat so far, still in the 14-second bracket. Clayton Davies trying to chase him down, but it's going to be difficult from here. Remember that the top 5 transfer through into the feature, and currently holding on to 5th place is Brenton Hobson, who's getting chased down by Tristan Yelland, who seems to have some really good pace on board that number 23.
Harassing him, swung to the bottom line, looking to try and pick up a little bit of speed at this point in time. 3 cars now to the pit lane. Yelland going to come back down to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to build some momentum. Not quite able to find it. Going to maintain the low line, though. Has found some traction now, gets the nose out ahead as they come off a 4. Big Tank Slapper will try and settle it back on down. Held the spot for a moment now. Going to swing back to the low line. Hobson finds the fence, gets clear for a moment. Hobson gets checked up. Yelland into the qualifying spot. 2 to go.
Brilliant move by Tristan Yelland. Loved seeing that. Tristo obviously doesn't always have luck fall his way, and more often than not he's out before the feature, but it's great to see him there up in 5th spot. And for the lead, it looks like, no, that's for 3rd place. Blaine Densley and Nick Ryan chasing each other down as the final lap begins for Tim Ryan, still setting stonking times at the front of this field, currently leading by over a second on Clayton Davies. Well, who will finish 3rd, Blaine Densley or Nick Ryan? Ryan takes the win. Clayton Davies in 2nd, and it looks like a drag race between Densley and Nick Ryan there. Hobson getting almost a run on Tristan Yelland at the end, but Tristo has managed to get into the transfer.
Yeah, he'll take this spot, and it was a big move down to the inside, and I think the critical factor was that he wasn't following. Could you imagine if he'd have been following Hobson when Hobson tagged the barriers? Well, that would have not gone well for either of them, so made the right call, applied the right pressure. Qualifiers, Tim Ryan from Clayton Davies, Blaine Densley, Nick Ryan, and Tristan Yelland, your top 5 to go through, to come through the B and A main are going to be Hobson from Parrott, Berkeley, and Bilson to round out your 9.
Yeah, Parrott, Berkeley and Bilson not having a great time in that first heat. Hopefully the night will go better for them from here. Nathan van der Wacker and Ethan Winter are your front row for Heat 2, with Harry Stewart, championship 3rd place there, trying to chase him down. Championship 4th place, I think. Van der Wacker, Stewart, they're both in there. Well, let's just say that. Our series administrator, Brady Baldwin, joining Stewart on the 2nd row, with Norman and Barry on row 3. And then we have Robert Crawley and Sean Stevens rounding out our field. Wasn't quite expecting Stevens to be that far down. He's one of the drivers that didn't set a lap in the quick time session. Looking forward to seeing what the number 26 can do from the back.
Yeah, a lot of pressure though. Highline off of the 4th row of the grid needs to find himself 3 spots to get the transfer. So that'll be his target. First and foremost, survive lap 1. Second, try and pick off those spots. Is he looking to try and do it from the rear end of the field? Set himself a little bit of a challenge? Well, sometimes it can all go wrong in the heats, and then you really got to come from the back end of the field in the A and B main. They'll form up on the run down to 3, and all in the hands of Van der Wacker.
Yeah, indeed. It will be an interesting fight here as Van der Wacker gets going here. And it was a little bit squirrely from Ethan Winter, who remains the championship leader coming into this round, but Stewart's going to overtake him for 2nd there as it's so bumpy up the top. It is the faster way around the track, but you got to be careful as Stewart gets tagged from behind by Baldwin, and Josh Barry takes advantage to try and move through. Oh my God, a massive crash. Barry's into the wall. We also had Stevens and Baldwin get into the wall as well, but everyone miraculously continues.
Yeah, they're all managing to hang on to it. Josh Barry now drops down to 6th spot. Sean Stevens and a big old tank slapper down the back straight away as well. Baldwin's gone to the rear trying to find some spots. Remember, only 5 are going to transfer at the moment. Van der Wacker's getting harassed by Ethan Winter at the bottom line. Looking to try and swing it back up to the top. Fastest lap time of the session to Van der Wacker. And there's a huge axe in the tail of the field. Baldwin and Stevens are going to be out of this one. There'll be no transferring for both of those drivers. Rob Crawley sneaks through into the 5th spot now.
Oh man, well Rob, all he has to do is hold on from here. He's got almost a second's worth of time to work back to Josh Barry there. and the battle is still on between Van der Wacker and Winter. This is what happened here between Stevens and Baldwin. So Brady comes in, and he's got Stevens in front of him, but oh man, Sean just had a huge loss of momentum there going over the bumps up high, and Baldwin ending his race upside down in the concrete wall. Not a good way for our league admin to start his night.
Yeah, difficulty now, and only a couple laps left from the heat. Van der Wacker still has control of this one. Winter probably a touch too far back to try and apply the afterburners and set something up. Harry Stewart's going to take a nice transfer spot in third as well. Nathan Norman, 2.5 seconds back across the 7 laps now, and Rob Crawley's got about 1.5 seconds. Barry, Baldwin, and Stevens. When you looked at this heat race, those were 3 you thought might just transfer.
Yeah, indeed. Turns out Port Royal is providing a lot of drama here tonight as the white flag flies. Ethan Winter still trying desperately to catch up to Nathan Van der Wacker, and with a slide down to the inside, he might have half a chance at it, but Van der Wacker is going to get the momentum out of there, and the number 88 takes the win in Heat 2 ahead of Winter, Stewart, Norman, and Crawley. All of those drivers will be transferring straight through to the feature. Josh Barry, the only other finisher in that race, both Stevens and Baldwin, 6 laps from the end, unfortunately taken out.
Yeah, and look at the margin that Barry took out of Rob Crawley as well. Nearly ran him back down and got that transfer spot. Now he's going to go the long way around to see if he can find his way back through. Heat number 3, Darcy Wilson will start off of your pole from Hayden Vickers. Bradley Oldfield on row number 2, alongside of Cameron De Bruin. Ashton Hurley from Nash Gardner on row number 3. On the back row for heat number 4 will be Daniel Nicol and Cole Ferguson.
Absolutely. Good field here in this one, and it's another one of those fields where I'm looking at it and I can't exactly pick a favourite to win. It will be very interesting to see. So Darcy Wilson will certainly want to get the best start he can. Hayden Vickers has had a lot of poor luck run his way this season, so here's hoping that he'll be able to get a good finish here. Race control have shortened the caution by 1 lap. We will have a very quick start here, but want to give a quick shout out to Liam James, who is usually our race control man here at ODSE. He's currently with his pregnant partner heading to the hospital, so about to become a dad. We'll have to wait and see on that. Congratulations to Liam and his significant other, Bradley Minshall, taking over race control duties for tonight. So, for the time being, here come our cars to the start zone, looking for Bradley Oldfield to try and make some moves further up into the top 2. But the likes of Cole Ferguson and Daniel Nicol will be wanting to chase down that top 5. Bit of a late-ish start here, coming around the second of our formation laps. It looks like we're going for a second formation lap here, so evidently drivers will have a little bit more time to get all formed up.
A little bit extra time, and they'll get themselves sorted now. So it's going to be Wilson from Vickers on your front row. Oldfield from De Bruin on row number 2. Pace car will take the left-hand turn down the back straightaway. We are in the hands of Darcy Wilson for a green flag.
All right, through turns 3 and 4 we come. The turn 4 that tightens up quite substantially right at the very end. A nice smooth getaway from Darcy Wilson, and already losing second place is Hayden Vickers. Bradley Oldfield immediately stamping his authority on that second spot on the podium, but up the inside, the 99 of Aston Hurley making a brilliant run up, and now will be fighting for second, potentially for the lead. He's got a great setup car, it seems, but he'll hold on to third for now.
And the big issue was the 81 machine hit. Sorry, it was the Ashton Hurley, I believe, hit the bumps. They're going to make contact and back straight away. Huge incidents into the inside barriers. Oldfield's going to sling it around the outside and pick that one up. The 99 of Hurley now into the barriers on the infield once again. That might be the heat done from him. And in the meantime, Wilson holds a comfortable lead out front. So it looks like he's going to pick up the transfer spot. The 2 drivers involved, Hurley from Ferguson, both eliminating themselves from contention. And all kicked off with the issues starting on that outside lane for, I believe it was Vickers. Yeah, he just hit the bumps that first lap.
Yeah, just a shame here for Hayden. So bit of 3-wide running, and then he got a tap from behind from Hurley, and then locked wheels with Cole Ferguson, sent somersaulting into the infield, where apparently he found out the secret of levitation. Well, Aston Hurley picking up some damage from that and ultimately retiring. He might be deemed as the car causing the incident, and indeed he has been given a black flag by race control, so he would not finish in the transfer anyway. Well, we have 5 cars left running. They are all going to make it through. They just need to survive. Wilson versus Oldfield at the front of the field, and Bradley is trying his hardest to look for some grip out there. You can already see that the track is starting to form some slick on the entry into these corners, so drivers need to be careful there.
And making the adjustments for that one. White flag in the air. Darcy Wilson is starting to be run down, although I think he's just testing out the lower line for a little bit later on. Covers it off on the run down to 3 and 4 to finish off the heat. Looking for some connection. Will find it, will find some drive, but that's high side. The keynote for Bradley Oldfield there, still quick at the tail end of that one. And again, I'm getting the feeling, Reese, it's about survival of the fittest or survive to transfer. Your pick.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Darcy Wilson takes the win there. Bradley Oldfield just 2/10 behind him. He had to go 3 seconds back to see Cameron De Bruin, who was all on his lonesome there. Granger made his way past Nickel around the outside to grab 4th spot. Unfortunately for Vickers, Ferguson and Hurley, all involved in the same incident, they will have to wait a little longer for their run into the feature. Meanwhile, Heat 4, Kobe Noonan is going to be on pole position with Zach Rattray White starting alongside him, Daniel Boyd and Bailey Leeson on our second row. The number 78 of John Schultz starting at a 5th spot alongside Thomas Mitchell, and then we have Corey Borden, the last car to take to the grid. Brad Minshall not obviously taken to the start. He's got a lot of race control stuff to handle behind the scenes. This will be our last heat of the night before we move into the alphabet. So the final 5 cars to transfer straight through to the feature. We're about to find out who they are.
Yeah, and I just want to say a shout out to my favorite GT3 specialist. That every single time it comes up, I can't wait to tell him how much of a GT3 specialist he is. Apparently, he can drive a few extra things, including Formula 4s and sprint cars. To Zach Rattray White.
Yeah, indeed. Zach is quite active on the dirt side of things, especially as of recent, and Vermilion Esports have gotten a nice campaign going here in ODSE Sprint Cars. Saw the 52 of Bailey Leeson there doing a couple of wheelies off the dummy grid there. Of course, these are 410 sprint cars. They have a lot of power beneath them.
That's half the fun, isn't it? Doing wheelies.
Yeah, for sure. Probably testing just how much power he can put down off the line when these guys get going. Pace truck is in, and so Kobe Noonan will take us to the start here in the number 26. We are away. Nice clean start from all of our runners. Getting left in the dust a little bit was Corey Borden, but close race for 2nd spot. Zach Rattray White and Daniel Boyd will try their best to hold on here, and Boyd will be working the inside. A bit more fresh clay down there for the time being, but the momentum is still with the drivers running up high.
But I think the big thing there is the lap 1, the difference between Rattray White and everybody else is finding the outside barrier. A few cars looking to go too wide down the back straightaway, but Rattray White on lap 1 opted to not run all the way up against the fence. He come down, shut down the momentum of Daniel Boyd on the low line, as they're still going to go sliding by for P2, P3, Schultz and Boyd toe to toe, and then down the back straightaway as well. Thomas Mitchell sings it around the outside. It gets on the outside of Bailey Leeson. Leeson now will try and grab that one back to the bottom. Little bit of a wobble, can't quite find the speed, and to the top side, Mitchell grabs the transfer spot for now.
Leeson was running so close to the concrete wall on the inside of turns 1 and 2 there. Just magnificent stuff. Turns 3 and 4, actually. My apologies. Always getting my turns mixed up here as Mitchell had a bad run out of that corner there. He's hit the inside wall. Leeson gets into him. They both continue, but oh lordy, that has just transformed the race for Corey Borden.
Borden was having some problems off the tail end of the field, now finds himself a transfer spot. How's Mitchell going to recover? Looks like the damage isn't too significant for Mitchell. Tries to swing it around the high side, builds some momentum, bounces over the bumps, trying to struggle and find some connection, looking for the crossover move down the back straightaway. Slide job from bottom to top, takes away the momentum, back into a transfer spot.
But for how long? Corey Borden slings it right back up the inside. These guys having such an entertaining battle. We have completely lost touch with the battle for the lead. Noonan and Rattray White are continuing to fight here as the white flag flies for the both of them. They're only separated by 7/10 of a second, but Man, this battle for the transfer is where it's at. Borden with a poor run on the inside there, and it's going to be a drag race for the both of these guys to the line as Kobe Noonan wins from Zach Rattray White, Schultz and Boyd third and fourth, and Borden, oh, can he just make it? Looks like he will.
Oh, big one, big one, big one, and it was the run down the back straight away. Borden managed to just barely get the check up on the 28 machine of Thomas Mitchell and cost him that momentum. If he could have got to the outside and kept it there, would have nicked the transfer spot. Wasn't quite able to do it. Noonan from Rattray White, Schultz from Boyd and Borden. Your transfers Mitchell and Leeson to go through the alphabet.
Yeah, it was only 0.04 of a second in it between Borden and Mitchell for that transfer spot. Shows you how hard they were fighting. It's time for the C main. Bailey Leeson and Joel Berkeley will start on our front row. Then it's Baldwin, Hurley and Bilson rounding out our 5-car field for this one. 10 laps, the top 4 will transfer through to the B main, and then all of the other drivers that weren't able to make it through into the transfer will race for the final 4 spots on the feature grid. This is where things really start to amp up here, Scott. The drivers will have a lot of pressure mounting, and you know, they'll just be looking to survive this one once again. Only one of the drivers involved in this race will not make it through.
Yeah, so it's a big, big old C main, and have a look at the list of drivers that are in this one at this point in time as well. Leeson from Berkeley on your front row, 2 drivers that absolutely should be making it. Brady Baldwin from Ashton Hurley will both be sitting there going, hang on, how am I not transferred at this point in time? Only 4 to transfer, 1 not to transfer. Here comes the elimination. Who's it going to be? And Bilson
there we go.
Will now get fired away.
Took him a couple extra moments there. But fortunately, he will be able to catch up in time as the pace truck pulls in. Come on, get behind him, Riley. We'll find out exactly who will transfer through to the B main here in the DM Simtography Port Royal 40. Leeson versus Berkeley on our front row, and we are away. You see how they had to have a couple of goes at the throttle on the way to the start. They're starting to struggle for grip here, and they need to keep an eye out for that rear end to come sliding. Berkeley is working the cushion that's formed in the middle of the circuit here. Big dichotomy between the high line and the low line. We might start to see more drivers trying for the middle here as Leeson is working the inside nicely, but Berkeley has the run on the way out. Baldwin trying to hold on to third, and it is on for the transfer between Bilson and Hurley. Aston making his way down to the inside here to try and stake his claim.
It's on for the race lead as well as out front. It's going to be Leeson versus Berkeley. Who's going to be able to swap it back as they go down the front straight away? The 9er Berkeley on the high side. Here comes Leeson. Will sling it across the bottom. Manages to take that one away. And now Hurley's going to have to struggle to try and find some time back. Not to the halfway point of the heat just yet. Bilson trying to pick up spots on Brady Baldwin. He's going to cost himself some momentum around the outside once more. Ashton Hurley's going to try and find the speed. Can he sling it off of 4? Yes, he can. Here it comes.
And to the inside he goes. Riley Bilson can do nothing to stymie that run. It's so bumpy up the top there. I'm amazed they're able to keep control of the cars. Track's definitely smoother down low, but you sacrifice potential speed. That's the drama of Port Royal. It's the magic of dirt racing. You can drive pretty much wherever you want and find some speed. For now, Hurley holding on to that final transfer spot, but Bilson is going to recover, and he is coming.
Indeed he is. 6 laps now complete on the books as we head off down into turn 1 to start number 7, and to the bottom now. Hurley's struggling for a little bit of momentum. Baldwin's driven his way back up to P2, trying to take it away from the bottom. Bounces around the top side for Joel Berkeley off of 3 and 4. It is starting to get rough. The track is getting beat up, and so are the drivers at this point in time as well.
Yeah, I can't imagine the forces going through the suspension if you're running up high through turns 3 and 4 here. It's so difficult to get a good line through the first couple of turns as well if you're running up the top. See how much wheel work is going into these drivers. Amazing to see that all 5 of our starters are still well and truly together. Leeson is still experimenting with the low line here as we take the white flag. Is there anything that Riley Bilson can do to pass Aston Hurley for this final transfer spot? There's a run from Berkeley up the front. He's not going to be able to get it done on Leeson, I don't think. Leeson will take victory here in the B main, and in the C main, sorry. And it looks like Bilson was unsuccessful in getting past Aston Hurley. So, Leeson, Berkeley, Baldwin, and Hurley will transfer through to the B main. We say goodbye to Riley Bilson.
Who would have been thinking at the start of the night Bilson would be the first car to be eliminated as well? That's a big old one for Riley Bilson, that he'll be taking a big old L, unfortunately, from that one, and finds himself eliminated at this early stage. Now we'll transfer across to our B main and get ready for this one. It's going to be Hobson from Josh Barry on the front row, stacked front row. Hayden Vickers found a lack of speed in an incident in the heat from Thomas Mitchell on row number 2. Travis Parrott and Sean Stevens coming through from row number 3. Row number 4 is going to be Cole Ferguson from Bailey Leeson as well. Another couple of drivers deeper in the field. Here comes the drivers that transferred out of the B main. It's Berkeley from Baldwin from Aston Hurley to round out your back 11. And some drivers in that middle of the field are going to be feeling quite vulnerable with the names to come from behind them.
Oh yeah, they certainly will. Joel Berkeley starting from 9th place there in car 9. So yeah, looking for a good run from him. He's had some brilliant results in ODSE competition, has Joel, but since making his comeback to the competition this year, he struggled to find some clean runs. Hopefully we'll be able to see him in the feature, but remember, it's only the top 4 cars that are going to transfer through and take up those final 4 spots on the feature grid. The pressure will be on here for Hobson. He's got Hayden Vickers right behind him there. Got Travis Parrott up the top as well as the start comes to us. Lovely start from Brenton Hobson. Josh Barry didn't quite respond as quickly as he'd like, but he's going to try and get it done there. As up into the wall goes Hayden Vickers, and he almost lost his wing there. He's got to be very careful not to get it into the Armco barrier.
And have a look at Berkeley trying to cut his way through the field. 3 wide back there for about 9th, 10th, and 11th. Berkeley now will slide his way on up into 8th. Everyone trying to find their little bit of a track, bouncing in the high line. 3 wide in the middle of the corner. The 33 for the 99 and the 9. So Berkeley, Parrott, and Hurley. Now Brady Baldwin trying to pick up some spots, and it's open slather at the moment. It is a smorgasbord because you've got to grab the spots whilst they're on the table. Barry's going to get to the point now. Nearly 4 wide, Reese.
Goodness me. Thomas Mitchell and Bailey Leeson coming together there. It looked like Mitchell got a little tap from Vickers on the way in, and Hayden has backed them all up, and he's going to get involved with Joel Berkeley. Oh no, disaster for Vickers and Berkeley here as the racing still continues here up the top. Sean Stevens and Thomas Mitchell fighting over 5th place. For now, Bailey Leeson still holding on to that coveted 4th place transfer spot as, oh wow, there was another car tumbling down there. Oh, Travis Parrott and Cole Ferguson have just been involved with that. It looks like it was Joel Berkeley who was trying to get things going again. He's just caused another incident between those 2 cars.
Yeah, huge moment for all of those guys, and unfortunately Berkeley and Vickers both going to be eliminated. Parrott and Ferguson now out. It's Onvia, it's up 4. Stevens has driven his way back through, back into 4th spot at this point in time, but Mitchell's trying to come down to the low side and steal one away. What is Stevens going to be able to do? And have a look at Hurley driving his way from the rear end of the field. Can he get back to the point? He's now going to go ahead and take away 5th spot. Halfway mark now of the B main. Slides it through to the bottom, looking for connection in the middle. Can't quite find it. Still sits with Stevens.
Yeah, just enough space for Sean Stevens to make it back round the outside there, and they're starting to put the pressure on Leeson now as well. Stevens is going to try and go for the top 3 here as we enter the 9th lap of this race. Still a good lead from Josh Barry. Brenton Hobson, all he has to do is sit there. He hasn't got much pressure from behind. Stevens versus Leeson versus Hurley. That is the battle we're going to be looking at here. But it looks like Hurley's starting to drop back himself. Thomas Mitchell and Brady Baldwin are mounting a comeback from the back.
I wonder if there's some overly spun tyres, some overly heated rears, and the clay is starting to get slick. Look at Hurley up and high wide into the bumps. Bounces all on over them. Somebody get that man a motocross bike the way he's riding the outside at this point in time. Swinging through to the bottom line. Baldwin's going to try and make some time. Do it now if he possibly can. Time's starting to run out. Leeson drops back to that 4th spot. Hurley's going to find some time in the middle of this one as well. 2 more laps to run in the heat.
Yep, and it's still on for the lead. Josh Barry actually losing some time to Brenton Hobson, who's been working the outside beautifully as the white flag flies. Our top four are all together. Barry, Hobson, Stevens and Leeson. Sean Stevens might have a go at second spot here, or will Hobbo have a go at Barry? Josh is going to try and work the middle of the road, but it doesn't look like there's any grip out there. Hobson tries to get the run to the line, but it is going to be Barry who takes it. And Sean Stevens almost getting into the top three there. Wow. What a race that was. Beautiful B-main indeed. Josh Barry is going to win ahead of Brenton Hobson, Sean Stevens and Bailey Leeson, but everyone behind them, man, look at those names. Honestly, I wouldn't have expected all of those drivers to make their way out of the field here tonight. Hurley, Baldwin, Mitchell Ferguson, Parrott, Vickers, say nothing of the 11th place man, Joel Berkeley. Man, it's such a shame to see all of them out, but it's time for our best friend, the spinny wheel, and we are joined by Brady Baldwin here to drag drivers in, starting with, of course, Tim Ryan. Well, Tim, your feelings on the spinny wheel are certainly known, but there's a 1 out of 8 chance for you to get pole here.
All right.
Yeah, very true. I suppose you could say that, but let's see what it... Oh my God, you just missed out on pole position. It's going to be 4th for you.
Could be worse.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll see how we go. It should be a lot of crashes, so sorry, Brady. Yeah, it will be... So it is a very tough track to run, especially with the new update out today. People just aren't on top of their setups yet, and the car is a little bit different to drive, so with the track model changing, so... Yeah, we'll see how it goes in a few weeks when people have got a bit better handle on it.
Yeah, indeed we shall. Well, Ryan's going to be starting from outside second row. Now it's time for Nathan Vanderwacker. Would you prefer to be on the inside or the outside on the start?
To be honest, I'd prefer to be up front, maybe to the outside. I'd love to get up on the fence here at Port Royal, and hopefully the lucky dice rolls because it's my birthday in 2 days, so hopefully that's a lucky charm.
It's going to be 3rd. Nicely done,
that.
inside second row. All right, well, Nathan Vanderwacker will start in 3rd spot. So we have our front row and our final 2 rows in the top 8 ready to go here. Next up is going to be Darcy Wilson. So you have a chance of a front row start here, Darcy. Could be 5th, 6th, 7th or 8th as well. Obviously, you'd prefer to be further up the front.
Yeah, I'll take a pole, hopefully.
All right, let's wait for Jay to spin the wheel, and we'll see exactly where you end up. 5 segments on the wheel for the time being. Jay's just fixing the spinny wheel there. Accidentally deleted second, so now there's 6 segments.
There we go.
All right, so where will Darcy Wilson end up? You'll be keeping an eye on that yellow wedge, but it's going to be the dark green wedge. You're starting 8th.
What the Sigma?
Oh dear. Big shame for Darcy Wilson. But now it's time for Kobe Noonan in the number 26. Kobe, your form has been great these last few rounds, and we'll see if you can continue it here at Port Royal.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully I can keep it up the front this time. I'm doing well to get it up there, but I can't keep it up there.
All right, well, it looks like it's going to be 7th spot for you. You just missed out on pole.
Unlucky. Oh, well, we'll see if we can make something happen.
Yeah, we shall indeed. Kobe Noonan will start in 7th place. That's our back row and our second row sorted. Now it's time for Clayton Davies. You basically got a choice of front row or 3rd row, Clayton.
I'll take front row, but not pole. It seems like it's a curse at this point.
Yeah, indeed. Not quite the boon that it's been in past rounds. Well, keep an eye on that yellow wedge. It's coming, but it's going to be 5th for you.
That's better. That's better than first. That seems like a curse, so I'll take that.
Yeah, indeed. Clayton Davies will be starting in 5th place for this next round of the ASC series. Then it's time for Ethan Winter. Well, luck has fallen your way here, Ethan. Could be a 6th place, but it could be a front row as well.
Yeah, not my finest performance in qualifying earlier, but hopefully we get a bit lucky here, get a front row at least.
All right, well, you got a 2 out of 3 chance, so the odds are pretty good in your favor. And the spinny wheel slows down, and oh my God, That's as close as I've ever seen it, but it looks like you're just a pixel into second place.
Yeah, that's fortunate. Hopefully we can do something with this luck. End up in the podium, hopefully.
Can we get a photo finish on the wheel, please?
Yeah.
I want a photo finish on that.
Yeah, that's magnificent stuff there. I'll wait for the slow motion of that. But in any case, we've got Bradley Oldfield here, the last driver in there is Jay. It makes it a little bigger there. We want to see exactly what the margin was there. I mean, if we're talking in track terms, that's got to be like 1,000th of a second or something like that.
Yeah, the times are even. For the 10,000, please.
Oh, lordy. That's fantastic. Well, in any case, Bradley Oldfield joining us now. You basically got a choice between pole or sixth spot.
Oh, well, I want to get the pole, I'll tell you that.
All right, let's see if it happens for you. It is going to be pole.
W Skibidi.
Yeah, boy. Let's do it.
Get around it.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Bradley Oldfield going to be starting on pole position here, which means Zach Rattray White, you are going to be starting sixth for the feature.
Ooh, fancy.
Tell me, Zach, what traction control setting do you use in dirt sprint cars?
Classified information, mate.
Okay, all right, my bad.
Yeah.
Tried.
It's right.
You
Called the
tried,
right foot.
Pretty well tuned right foot there, extra lubrication on the old ankle, but that's going to be our top 8 sorted then for our feature here for round 15 of the Oceanic Dirt Sim Events Sprint Car Championships for 2024. The DM Simtography Port Royal 40 going to get going in a very lovely way in just a few moments' time, Scott. We are on for a fantastic race here. 40 laps on the cards for our feature.
Yeah, tricky one as well. And I think the big thing is that we've already seen the berm causing a lot of issues, for everyone trying to get themselves sorted and settled into that top groove. Bouncing off it as the grip wears away, everything's just sort of wearing. The top groove isn't consistent. The bottom groove has started to come in just a little bit. But the problem is I don't necessarily think enough. It is very, very slick down on there coming off of, I think, turn 2 at the moment is where they're struggling the most. 4 is going to come to them. We'll just have to see how it transitions. And I need to watch some more dirt over racing, I tell you what.
Yeah, indeed. It's been a fantastic season to behold as a spectator. I will make a correction on myself, though. I said it was going to be 40 laps. It's actually set in the server as 30 laps. So, 30 laps, but $40 to win. So the drivers will be competing for some cold hard cash thanks to DM Simtography.
Yeah, a big shout out to Damon Mulqueen as well, behind the scenes at DM Simtography. He's done some brilliant photos for me and captured some really, really cool moments for me. The AOG IndyCar series recently, there's a couple of really cool moments I want to captured for all time, and he does a great job. He's always on hand. He's one of the guys behind the scenes that does all the photo taking for the articles I'm writing across with the Logitech Pro Invitational as well, and it's a big shout out to Damon. And he's an okay lad from time to time as well. Not all the time, but can't compliment him all the time. You always got to rough up Damon a little bit. Can't give it to him, but he doesn't wobble as hard as Brady.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he's not a bad commentator either. Actually joined us for the previous round of the championship here in place of Jay, who was unable to commit to comms duties for the last round. So, big shout out to Damon Mulqueen for your support of this series and for the dirt community here in Australia and New Zealand. The warm-up is on for the time being. Drivers are just working the track in a little more before this final run of the night gets going. But yeah, 30 laps around a track like this is going to be a tough ask, and have a look at how slick the track is up top.
Yeah, and you can just see it. I mean, they're already starting to run it in, and that berm is getting higher and higher and higher. So just the consistency levels of just being able to keep the car right where you want it. A big part about this is learning, getting out there, running it in a little bit, learning and going, ooh, do I want to set up adjustment just a titch this way? Is the track already beyond perhaps some of my tackier settings? Am I going to really dial that in, run a little bit more wing? Part of that session is running the track in, changing the track a little bit. The other half is taking a read on it.
Yeah, exactly. You won't get much time to take a read on it once things get going. You have to get used to it. Well, that's your top 8 once again. Bradley Oldfield's going to be starting on pole alongside Ethan Winter. Nathan Vanderwacker and Tim Ryan are your second row, with Clayton Davies and Zach Rattray White rounding out the top 6. 7th and 8th will be Kobe Noonan and Darcy Wilson. And from there, well, the positions remain unaltered, with Blaine Densley and Harry Stewart rounding out the top 10. It's Cameron De Bruin and John Schultz rounding out our top 12.
Right, we'll throw it over Nick Ryan, and it's going to be the inside of Nathan Norman. From Nash Granger to the inside of Daniel Boyd's Vortex Simsport entry. Tristo Yellen making it straight through the feature from the heat. He'll be proud of that one, off alongside of Rob Crawley. Rounding out your top 20 will be Daniel Nickel from Corey Borden. And finally, your transfers from the B-Main. Josh Barry from Brenton Hobson won't be starting out of 6th here tonight. Sean Stevens and Bailey Leeson with work to do from the rear of the field.
I reckon Hobbo's going to finish 6th.
I put money on it. I'd put money on it. It's the safest bet. You're losing money betting on that result.
Yeah, indeed. Well, now the field moves away. Of course, the front 8 are going to switch through into the positions they were given thanks to the spinny wheel. They do start out of order for that, thanks to iRacing automatically grouping them by finish in the heats. But of course, there will be black flags cleared by race control on the first couple of laps of the race. This is going to be a very tough race here at Port Royal. As we said, it's a half-mile long dirt oval, one of the longer dirt ovals available on the iRacing service. So that means there's going to be a lot of time to build up speed. It's going to be all about the run out of those corners. We've seen that the outside line is very important to get right, but as the track wears in, maybe the inside line will come through.
Well, just noticing as well, Corey Borden has had an issue and dropped out of the service. They're reshuffling from the tail end of the field as well and getting that one nice all unsuited. And going to set themselves here for this start now. It's going to be an interesting one as well. Tim Ryan's got pace here tonight, but not now running out front. You know, he's going to reset himself, get those starts done. The big thing is clusters on the starts. They're all big clusters, 24 cars, biggest field of the night. Make sure you survive lap 1.
Yeah, how many will get through the first 4 turns of this race? Early start from Bradley Oldfield, who leads us away for the DM Simtography Port Royal 40. $40 to win, and currently it's in the hands of Oldfield, but look at the run out of the corner from Ethan Winter. He's going to take the lead right away, and he will want to stay there.
Big incident about the middle of the field as well. Back to the top side from the 51 of Oldfield. Winter got the drive out, but it was bouncing through the corners and up and across the bumps. 410 sprint cars from Port Royal will swing it around lap 2. More running into the guardrail. Somebody in the background.
Davies.
Machine just got a nudge there. They'll all try and find themselves a room in the 11. Keep your eyes on him. If Harry Stewart cuts his way back through, back to the top line.
Yeah, struggling for grip though. He's getting bumped around as Harry almost gets sent into the wall by Tim Ryan, but they're going to move their way through. Tim is working his way up. He's alongside Zach Rattray White now, but Tim's going to fall outside of the top 10 for a second there. And oh no, there's been a big problem for Ryan. He's crashed out.
Oh, tumbling back down through the field. Sean Stevens now drops a couple of places as well, but Tim Ryan's night is done. Unfortunately, way off the pace now. And in the pit lane, some more drama has happened there. Now back at the point, Ethan Winter's going to be leading the way from Bradley Oldfield as we cut our way through 30 laps. Remember, Ethan DeWacker started a little bit deeper in the field on that third row, has slid his way back up to third spot. Have a look at the sliding. They're starting to really slide it on the way in, and unfortunately, the 11 machine again finds the barrier for Harry Stewart.
Yeah, so, it was Tim and Harry coming together there, and it looks like, I'm not too sure what happened to Tim there. Maybe he just decided to call it a night after that banging about with Harry. They're probably going to have a conversation about that after the race. But we'll have to wait and see who gets these top 3 spots, because Bradley Oldfield's starting to struggle. Nathan Vanderwacker is trying his best to work the inside line here, and it's working out for him. I've been seeing Ethan Winter up top. He's been sliding that car a lot. Seems like anyone who's trying the high line is almost ending up 90 degrees to the racing line.
I think the big issue they're finding at the moment is there's no turn in the middle of the corner, so you got to back it in, get it really angled through the entry, and then try and find a point where you can just point it straight down off the exit. Winter now around the middle of the track, actually on the run down through the middle of 3 and 4. Keep your eyes now on the 26 machine to really start to try and cut his way back through as well. But it's deeper in the field. Leeson's not really made any time as well. How about Hobson? Hobson's only got his way back to 18th, and there is a huge gaggle of cars back there as well. Sean Stevens and Hobson just made contact with Daniel Nicol, who ended up out and in the barrier as well, and more contact. This was the replay. Oh.
Yeah, that's what happened there to the number 13 of Cameron De Bruin. Big shame for him. Crucially, though, Nathan van der Wacker has taken the lead from Ethan Winter, and looked like a beautiful move that he made to get there. They're now all working the middle line. See that strip of fresh clay up the top of the slick? That's what they're searching for through the corners.
Yeah, trying to find some bite at the right rear, keep him nice and cool, not overslide. And the thing is, right where it is on the banking, there's not too much in the way of bumps either, as this was the move to get the job done all the way up at the point. Just got drive off, and it was those bumps on the outside, unfortunately for Winter. Now Kobe Noonan's driven his way all the way back through the field, gets to third, trying to slide to the bottom of the racetrack, can't find the purchase, and Winter forced back to the top of the racing line to try and find some momentum. The 51 machine of Oldfield led the way to start things off, back to 5th spot, still taking a reasonable bank of points home as well. And how about Barry from the rear end of the field? Slides his way on past the 96 of Norman, loses the spot once more. He'll transition back to the high side, but he is putting his way through with Barry.
Oh, no.
Huge moment in front.
Yeah, Darcy Wilson with a slide there got collected, and it was actually a coming together between Wilson and Oldfield up the top. Looked like Wilson just backed it all the way into turns 3 and 4, and Oldfield had nowhere to go.
Have a look at the attempt to rotate it on the slick at the bottom of the track from the 11 once more of Harry Stewart as he was fighting his way around with Norman. Moves back to the high line, tries to find some momentum, gets unloaded in the middle of the car, and look at the suspension, bangs the outside wall down. Norman's going to get back to his inside, try and steal that one back off him. This will provide an opportunity for Barry to close on up halfway through the feature. 15 laps in the book, 15 to run.
Indeed. This is a really good run from Harry Stewart around the outside, recovering from his earlier run-in with Tim Ryan, and now holding on solidly to P5. He's going to have to try something different to work his way forward. He's struggling to find grip, and he's struggling to get acceleration out of the corners. Same for Sean Stevens as well. Under attack from Nick Ryan as around goes Brenton Hobson, and he didn't get it going in time. The caution is out.
Yeah, will be the first caution of the night, just past the halfway mark. Unfortunately for Hobson, one of the 88 cars will lead the way. Unfortunately for him, it's not him. It is going to be Van der Wacker from Winter. How about the speed, though, Reese, of the 026 of Kobe Noonan? Kobe Noonan at that point in time cut his way through the field.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Hobson was already suffering issues, but didn't make contact with anyone, just lost the rear end. And actually, no, it was contact from behind that got it done for him there. It looked like Tristan Yellen that got into him.
Remember, those two swapped places for the last spot in the heats as well, so...
Yeah, they did. That is an interesting point there. So, it's unfortunate that night-long battle ending that way between them. Tristo has taken himself out of the race as a result of that. But Brenton Hobson will still be running down in 20th spot. Here's what happened to Darcy Wilson. He just lost the rear end and then got collected by Bradley Oldfield. That didn't bring out a caution, but it resulted in a lot of trouble there for the Vermilion car down low.
I think there was Barry potentially that come through and got collected, and you can just see it. Even though it's a wider track, it's a longer-ish track, they're very, very narrow, and the amount of bumps, the amount of bouncing around, like these guys are struggling here tonight. Good thing that it's simulated, because the forces on the bodies, there would be potential for cracked ribs for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of respect for sprint car drivers. They really have it cut out for them physically, as Van der Wacker will lead us away for the restart. Nice long green flag run, but we'll wait and see if cautions breed cautions. Already some dramas for Wilson and Leeson down low. Bailey's still going to try and work his way up. There's the number 17, meanwhile, Zach Rattray White with his teammates at Vermilion. Right in the midst of it as Harry Stewart tries to work his way around the outside. Nathan Norman will be his next target, and Stewart's following Ethan Winter here. Ethan managing to keep himself in third spot, but Kobe Noonan and Nathan van der Wacker have been absolutely monstering this track as it's worn down. Here comes Harry Stewart. Maybe took some time under the caution to change his wing setting, and it's worked out for him there. He's up into second.
Yeah, really starting to find some time, and it was Noonan. Remember before that, it was starting to cut his ways through. Stewart's been finding some speed, finding some pace, ripping the lip way up and around the outside. Find some momentum. Nathan van der Wacker, you better figure this track out because you better run because you certainly can't hide from Harry Stewart.
Yeah, Harry's on a mission now, and Van der Wacker, well, he was supreme before the caution came out, but that reset maybe has hurt him. You see how much slick there is through turns 3 and 4. You can't find any grip as Stewart tries the slide job. Van der Wacker finds some fresh clay and gets the traction out of the corner there. But here in turns 3 and 4, you have to stick high. You can't run down into the slick. You just lose all of that traction if you don't have the car perfectly straight.
Yeah, and you've got to point it as well. You can't maintain the high side right the way round. It's finding where the lane is, finding it when to turn down. Van der Wacker starting to find some speed once again, has found his rhythm, has found his routine as he slides down just a touch below the top of that racetrack. The problem for Stewart is he's finding the speed, he's finding the momentum off the top rope, but then he's going to find the hole to try and slot through. It's going to be a two-wide battle up front. It's about to go side by side as they go for the race lead. Just about got to the outside corner panel right there of Nathan van der Wacker. Van der Wacker loses the momentum on the slick through the middle of 3 and 4. Gets back to the high side. They're gonna bang wheels. He'll go back around the outside, trying to find some momentum across the bumps. What is this? Stadium Super Trucks? No, it's just ODSE.
Fantastic stuff. Brenton Hobson jumps straight out of the way. He doesn't want anything to do with this as Stewart picks up the throttle around the outside and takes the race lead from Nathan van der Wacker, who will try and slide back under him here at turns 1 and 2. Gently does it. On your way through these last few laps, only 5 to go here at Port Royal. What a drive it has been from Harry Stewart. Magnificent stuff. This is going to be very interesting indeed, this finish. Can Van der Wacker find anything here in these final 4 laps? Because Stewart seems to have the car set up perfectly now.
I think it's just a lot of risk. Stewart is just absolutely sending caution to the wind to try and find the speed. He is out of control as they drive up for 3 and 4. How about the battle for third? Winter led so many laps through this one, hasn't been able to manage to hang on to it. And now Kobe Noonan's denying him an opportunity to sit on the podium. 3 to go as they run down to 3 and 4 once more. Slide job from the bottom to the top. Takes away the line, the momentum. Back to the slick. Noonan hangs on to it. 2 to go.
Oh, this is good stuff here between Noonan and Winter. And for the time being, it looks like Harry Stewart has left Nathan van der Wacker behind, and Nathan is rapidly starting to come into the clutches of these two. Only a lap to go up the front here for the number 11 of Harry Stewart, who was sitting in 4th in the championship. 3rd in the championship, and he will get a massive haul of points here with Tim Ryan not scoring in the feature and Ethan Winter finishing outside of the podium spots. Here comes Harry Stewart to the line, your feature winner at Port Royal.
$40 in cash goes the way of Harry Stewart. Oh my God! For 3 cars at the tail end of the field.
Wow.
And that is the emotion going through Harry Stewart displayed in sprint cars. He's doing backflip for $40.
Absolutely. Goodness gracious. Harry's going to celebrate that one. And wow, that final incident there, I think Stevens was one of the cars involved in that one. So I think Davies, Barry and Stevens all getting involved in something across the line there. Oh lordy, we're going to see exactly what happened here. So Stevens coming up. There was an incident ahead actually, and crossing the line there. Airball for all 3 cars.
My word.
Wow. Oh, what a race. What a night at Port Royal Speedway. Coming out on top, Harry Stewart by 7/10 from Nathan van der Wacker. Kobe Noonan completing the podium in an absolutely storming drive. Ethan Winter up to, in fourth place there. Still a good haul of points in the championship lead. Nathan Norman making up 9 spots there with Zach Rattray White and Clayton Davies 6th and 7th. Josh Barry and Sean Stevens are your cars with the most positions gained in the field at 13 and 14 places respectively. Nick Ryan also gaining 3 spots to round out the top 10.
Throw it over Leaf to the first drivers outside the 10 was Schultz from Densley, from Daniel Boyd, Bailey Leeson out of the 14, Nash Granger unfortunately out of 15. Cameron De Bruin had an issue early on and fell through the field to 16th, 17th for Nickel, and your pole sitter was Bradley Oldfield, finishes the last car on the lead lap. Brenton Hobson with the issue out of 19th, 1 lap down from Darcy Wilson to round out your 20.
And then we got into the lower territories here. Tristo Yelland, Rob Crawley, Tim Ryan and Corey Borden all not making it to the finish. A big shame for all of them. But opposite for Harry Stewart, who joins us in the box now. Congratulations, Harry. Storming drive to victory there. It seemed obvious to me that you changed something on the car under the caution there because your pace just transformed.
I actually have no idea what I did. I think I was running, I don't even know what I was doing, but I thought I was like 10th or something, and then the yellow came out because, well, I had no idea, no time to look at the where I was actually running. I think I was like 6th or something. So then, I don't know, no one ran the top, and I had nothing to lose. So yeah, I went for it, and it bloody worked. I couldn't really see what was going on. I was just bouncing around the whole time. So yeah, I was pretty lucky. No one sort of moved up into my lane because my reaction times would have been shocking because I was too busy focused on not jamming it in the fence. So yeah, it's probably one of those times where I was out of control and just lucky not to end up over the fence or take too many people out. I probably made a bit of contact with some people, but yeah, it was pretty fun. Regardless, I didn't think I'd be any good. I've kind of sucked in the 410s every week we've done it, besides I think probably the first few rounds. So yeah, that was definitely different. Been good.
Yeah, fair enough. Very tough track here at Port Royal. Well, you're embroiled in the fight for the championship top 3, and with Tim Ryan not making it to the finish in the feature and Ethan Winter finishing off the podium, that's going to be a nice bonus for you as you potentially chase it down in the last few rounds.
Yeah, well, yeah, I might have had a hand in why Tim didn't finish, so I don't know if I'll be keeping my position, but yeah, I don't know, I just kind of roll in, try and win the race. I haven't really been thinking about the points thing, so I think I missed a round anyway, so yeah, I haven't really thought about it too much.
Fair enough, Harry, but regardless, first finisher on the track is the honour that you have here at Port Royal. Anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, just big thanks to Bradley for building the setup, because when he put like 3/10 on us in the warm-up session, I kind of annoyed him for a solid 30 seconds to get me to send me the set, and I got it and it worked out pretty good. So thanks to him, and thanks to Joel for spotting for that feature, and Darcy for all the setup throughout the night. Everyone on the car, Titan Garages and Carports, BKB Pumping Solutions, Tour Mobile Welding, Down Under Graphics, Frags Tyres, A7 Creative, the whole ODSE admin team for putting in the effort and getting this league on every second week, and you guys for broadcasting and commentating. You do a ripper job, and yeah, see you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks at the dirt track at Charlotte. Harry Stewart, your feature winner here from Port Royal. Next up was Nathan Vanderwacker. Brilliant drive to second, stood by with Scott Rankin.
Nathan, man, that was a tough race because there was a lot of risk to run up there by the wall. You seem to found your line a little bit down and off the wall. Unfortunately, that's the risk that you take, isn't it? When you're running up there, somebody finds the pace. But hey, Banker's second points. I think that was the big one for tonight.
Yeah, definitely a good bag of points tonight. Yeah, normally I like to run up against the fence around here, but yeah, that whole middle portion of the race just found a really good line through the middle of the racetrack, and that kind of really carried me through the whole race. And then Harry was right up against that fence, and I thought, you know, if I want it, I'm going to have to come get it. So yeah, went up there, and Harry was just, yeah, he was beating down that wall. He was too good at the end, but yeah, still good bag of points to finish P2 tonight here at Port Royal.
Mate, talk us through riding that motocross style bump down there in 1 and 2, because that thing was hectic. If you just didn't find the right line, you had to be so precise down there. The car was bouncing all over the place here tonight. Yeah,
it's sometimes you got to enter full throttle as well. Sometimes the car doesn't really like it if you get off the throttle and you squat it down a bit. So you got to really get it up on the rails and try and really give it absolutely everything. And kind of, you probably say a prayer as you go in there, just hoping you come out the other end, but yeah, if you can try and just keep it straight up there. Sometimes you just try to, just slide into the corner and just grab the exit. So yeah, if you keep it straight, it'll treat you nicely. But yeah, if you get it all wrong, you're probably out of the race.
And finally, next week, 2 weeks time, we'll be heading to dirt track at Charlotte. Feeling a little bit more confident there, potentially snag another race win before the end of the season.
Yeah, I know there's probably a few tricks there to my liking. I've run quite a bit of laps there, but with the kind of a new update tonight. I don't know if we'll race differently. So, Charlotte's an interesting one. Really looking forward to that one.
Mate, finally, floor's all yours to thank everyone that makes it possible for you in the 088.
Of course, all you guys doing the broadcast and ODSE admins, they all do a fantastic job. Really happy we got to put on a better show tonight. Only, I think it was 1-2 cautions, I can't remember, but yeah, really put on a show here at Port Royal when we probably didn't think it was going to happen. But yeah, huge thanks to all the sponsors and everyone behind the car. BBS Esports, especially with helping with setup, building it helps a lot. And of course, all of our sponsors on the car, Maddington and Canning Vale Toyota, TD Granny Flats and Modular Homes, Pace Graphic Styled Imagery, Racecraft Simulations, Pulse Apparel, and Australian Speedway Results.
Well, brilliant stuff from Nathan van der Wacker there. Fantastic drive indeed to second spot, and third place on the road was Kobe Noonan. Good start from seventh spot there, Kobe. You were right in the thick of it the whole way through.
Yeah, mate, it was pretty hairy there at the start. I just sort of fell into a rhythm, and once I found that line through the middle, I felt really, really comfortable. So it was good to be able to finally turn a redraw spot into a podium. So that's good for the team.
Yeah, certainly is. How did you find the working up the top early on? Because there's some pretty hefty bumps there through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, that hole right in the middle of turn 1 and 2 can catch you out pretty hard. So I was trying really hard to miss it, just entering under it and sliding up and catching the cushion on exit. And that, especially towards the end, that seemed to be the line. Just miss the hole and catch the fluff on exit, and it'd send you down the back straight pretty good.
Yeah, certainly. Well, third place in the championship. Really good job later on. We go to Charlotte for the next round in 2 weeks, and we're staying in the 410 sprint cars. Nice wide circuit there for the penultimate round.
Yeah, fingers crossed we can have another good result, and hopefully it's good racing all the way through the field. That track normally gets pretty wide, and you can either roll the bottom or stick your right rear right against the concrete and rip the fence. So hopefully it's a bit of fun.
Yeah, hopefully it is. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go, Kobe?
Just like to thank Brady and all the ODSE team for putting this on, yourself and all the broadcast team for broadcasting it so that people can watch and get our sponsors out there. And in saying that, all our sponsors, Maddington and Canning Vale Toyota, TD Granny Flats and Modular Homes, Colin Bocas and all the boys at BBS Esports, Pace Graphics, Styled Imagery, Racecraft Simulations, Pulse Apparel, and Australian Speedway Results.
Kobe Noonan there, the final driver on the podium here tonight at Port Royal Speedway. Well, Mr. Rankin, that brings proceedings to an end for tonight. In 2 weeks' time, we race at Charlotte. What a fantastic race that is going to be. Wide and fast. This track is a classic for a reason.
Yeah, and the lines, the way they cross over at both ends of the racetrack as well, they both feel very, very different. And sometimes you just get that little bit claustrophobic as well. It always creates for good racing at Charlotte. Who is going to be the one that sends the slide to win it all?
Yep, penultimate round of the championship as well. We are getting closer and closer to crowning a champion for the 2024 Australian Sprintcar Championship by Oceanic Dirt Sim Events. Big thanks to DM Cinematography for supporting this round. $40 in cold hard cash to the winner of the feature. And we want to thank you all on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch and Kick for joining us here at SimSpeed TV for another great night of racing. I'm Reese Gardner, Scott Rankin with me in the comms box, and Jay Kennedy behind the scenes. We're SimSpeed TV, and we'll see you next time.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join iRace or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.